Welcome to Echoes of History, where the past isn't just remembered, it's relived. Today, we journey back to a time when humanity looked up at the night sky and turned a dream into the greatest race in history, the race to the moon. This was not just about science or exploration. It was about power, pride, and the unshakable belief that the future belonged to those who reached the stars first. Before we go further, tell me in the comments, if you lived back then, would you cheer for the USA United States or the USSR Russia? The late 1950s wasn't just about rock and roll and colorful Cadillacs. It was the age of nuclear fear. Two superpowers glared at each other across oceans, and the sky became the new battlefield. The USSR wanted to prove communism's superiority. The USA wanted to show democracy could win, even in space. Quick question, do you think space exploration today is still a competition, or has it become teamwork? Drop your answer below. October 4th, 1957, Sputnik 1. A shiny sphere the size of a beach ball, yet it sent shockwaves through the West. Its simple beep-beep over radios felt like the heartbeat of Soviet victory. In America, newspapers screamed, "We're losing the space race." Schools began pushing math and science harder. Direct hit engagement moment. Here's a fun one. If you had the chance to name Sputnik, what would you call it? Be creative in the comments. For the United States, the launch was a wake-up call. It triggered the space race, massive investment in science education, and the creation of NASA in 1958.
Today, a new moon is in the sky, a 23-inch metal sphere placed in orbit by a Russian rocket.
The Earth
Here an artist's conception of how the feat was accomplished. A three-stage rocket. Number one, the booster in the class of an intercontinental missile. Its weight estimated at 50 tons. The smaller second stage took over at 5,000 miles an hour and carried on to the highest point reached. 500 miles up, the artificial moon is boosted to a speed counterbalancing the pull of gravity and released. You are hearing the actual signals transmitted by the Earth-circling satellite, one of the great scientific feats of the age.
The U.S. tried to respond with the Vanguard rocket, which spectacularly exploded on live TV. The press called it Kaputnik. Ouch. But NASA was born in 1958, and soon Explorer 1 was in orbit. The Soviets countered with Laika, the first dog in space, a bittersweet victory, as she never returned. Direct hit engagement moment. Comment Dogface if you think Laika should be remembered as a true space hero.
The most spectacular of these was Vanguard at the end of 1957. There were other Vanguard failures. All achieved takeoff, but trouble occurred either in the second or third stages. Explorers 2 and 5, Beacon, and Pioneer 2 were also considered unsuccessful experiments. Yielded valuable data to the world's store of scientific knowledge. There were a number of failures during the year, and the United States promised other Vanguard failures. All achieved takeoff, but trouble occurred.
The press had a field day. Some newspapers mockingly called it Flopnik, others Oopsnik, or Stay Putnik. But the most famous nickname stuck, Kaputnik, a mix of the Yiddish/German word kaput, meaning broken or destroyed, and Sputnik. Although embarrassing, Kaputnik fueled America's determination to catch up. Just 2 months later, Explorer 1 would finally make it into orbit, officially putting the U.S. into the space race. 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. The U.S. followed with Alan Shepard and John Glenn. The USSR scored firsts again, the first woman in space, Valentina Tereshkova. America responded with Project Mercury and then Gemini, training astronauts for
Project
lunar
Mercury,
missions.
America's
Direct
first
hit
manned
engagement
space
moment.
program,
Imagine
lasted from
being
1958
Gagarin, looking
to
down at Earth for the
1963.
first time.
The
What's the
Mercury
first
7
word you'd
test
say?
pilots all: Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, and Alan Shepard Jr. and Deke Slayton. Their task proved that man could fly into orbit around the Earth and return live and well to talk about it. Shepard was first in Freedom 7. His 15-minute suborbital hop on May 5, 1961, proved the United States was catching up with the Soviet Union. Project Mercury, America's first manned space program, lasted from 1958 to 1963. The Mercury 7 test pilots all: Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, and Alan Shepard Jr. and Deke Slayton.
We meet in an
May
hour of
25th,
change and challenge,
1961.
in a
JFK
decade
promised
of
America
hope and
would
fear,
land a man on the moon
an age of
before
both
this
knowledge
decade
and
is
ignorance.
out. The nation
The
gasped.
greater our knowledge
The
increases,
technology didn't exist
the
yet.
greater our ignorance
Rockets had
unfolds.
failed. But the challenge
No
lit a
man
fire that
can
would
fully
burn for
grasp
the rest of the decade.
how far
Direct hit
and how
engagement
fast
moment.
we have
Do
come.
you think Kennedy was being
But
bold
condense,
or
if you
crazy?
will,
Let me know in the
the
comments.
50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of but a half a century. Stated in these terms, we know very little about
The race was no longer about the first in space. It was about the first on the moon. And both sides would pay a heavy price to get there. End of part 1 of Race to the Moon. Like and subscribe for part 2. Also comment any history you crave for, and I will bring it to you.